Hey, welcome back, and great to see so many people enjoyed our maiden voyage video. Certainly enjoyed making it, and wow, what a trip. But now it's time to look at doing a few repairs down in Gocek. Had a hydraulic problem, bit of a blockage in the water system. We did take some time out though, go and have a little bit of a look around, and that wonderful FS beer. I'll take you for a quick walk through the marina that we're staying in. And it is an amazing marina, really expensive, but just loved this boat. What classic lines. Yeah, very, very special area. Then it was back to business, one last sea trial after the repairs, and then we were off on our own up the coast of Turkey. Enjoy. Okie dokie, good morning everybody. And yesterday, if you remember, we had an issue with our stabilisers coming across from Rhodos, and if there was a way that the reservoir for the hydraulic fluid could drain away, it is a leaky seal in one of the rams that drives the arm that goes down to the stabiliser fin. Now, I don't know if you can see it there, but you can just see a continuous drip just below that pipe coming into the cylinder. Probably notice that noise in the background too. That's the pump coming on, the water pump, and it's intermittently coming on and off and on and off and on and off, even though we're not using water. So I have to investigate that as well, just little teething problems. We'll give you an update on that as things progress, but at this stage it's Saturday morning and it looks like it's going to be Monday when the seals arrive. So, and just going to show you in here. Here is all the hydraulic oil in the bilge. So that is all going to be cleaned out at some stage, and we're not far off at activating the float switch on the bilge pump actually, which would not be a good thing to dump all of this into the marina. There's also the fresh water pump going on and off intermittently, which seems a little bit unusual, and you can see just on the ground down here, it's probably the right angle there actually, there's a little bit of water. So it doesn't take much for the pressure to go down enough for it to have to, or trigger the start of the pump. Now, we are zeroing in on the problem here with water, so you can see that is definitely water, right? So I've got that correct. And I'm just going to be really quiet and you listen and see if you can hear that? That is the noise of escaping water. So I am now going to try and work out exactly where it's coming from without getting, I see it. I have found it. Look at that. Let's go right in here. Oh. There's the pump, and look at that. We have water somehow escaping from the hot water cylinder. And it's coming out there, but it's also coming from further up. So that definitely requires further investigation. Stand by. Teething problems of a brand new boat. Okay, so set the camera up. You should be able to see what's going on here. We have what would appear to be an ever so slight loose pipe fitting. So here is a screwdriver. Let's just see what some of these others are like, eh? Yeah, they're not that tight actually. That is. That is. That's tight. That's tight. Righto. Okay, so we've got to the bottom of this wee problem. this could have just been done up a little bit tighter, and interesting because we've now been on the boat for well over a week. We've done all the sea trials and we've done 48 hours of running, and that had never shown up. So you'd think it would be doing it right from the start, but it hasn't. Oh, see, that's tight. That's tight. That's tight. Well, I'll tell you what, they're all pretty good. I'm going to start at the top again. And interestingly, there's quite a few of these fittings have got double clamps on them. This is one of the few that only has a single. Possibly find there's not enough. No, that'll be why, because there's not enough room. But you can imagine we're doing a 14-day trip across, 15-day trip across the Atlantic, and that pops off. Just lost fresh water. Anyway, problem solved. Okay, and so while we're on the subject of water, there is a little strainer that is in the freshwater pump feed line. And if you remember, we've talked about the pressure around the boat not being as good as we thought it might be, and these are pretty good pumps. So the view is that the strainer might just be full of a little bit of stuff, which from the build effectively you just get bits and bobs in there from all over the place. So we're going to take that off, and then we'll see if that improves the pressure. So stand by on that as well. And absolutely no noise down here now, so we have solved the water problem for the time being. So there you go. There's a bit of muck in there, isn't there? So the guard's off. We'll take the strainer out, we'll wash it, put it back together, and then let's see how the pump pressure goes now. So there we go. That's pretty emphatic, isn't it? As expected. So we're going to give that a good clean out, and we'll put it all back together again. Love finding what the problem is and solving it. Right, so there we have now a completely clean filter, and of course, thing is, it's doing its job. It's exactly what it's there for. You don't want all that little bits and bobs going into the system and blocking things, and so it's absolutely doing the job that it's supposed to do. And obviously after the build, you just can't help but get little bits and pieces, dust and shavings and whatever. I've done enough building to know that. So it's exactly why we have something like that there. So it's all nice and clean now, you see that. I will fit it back in, and we are going to test the water pressure. Okay, mission accomplished. We have the filter back in place, checked around it, there's no drips forming, and the pump went on, and I will show you our new pressure. Okay, so moment of truth here. I'm going to see how our pressure goes. I mean, to me that's not a huge amount different, but when you put that on, definitely better pressure. But the big test, of course, is still going to be when we turn the deck wash pumps on. That will be the real test of how this pump performs. In the meantime, while I wait for that to happen, I'm going to do an oil check on the generator. Try and do that each day, and then we'll also do an engine oil check and coolant check on both engines. And here's the one on the left hand side, which I love an awful lot more than the one on the right hand side, because the one on the right hand side I have to be a contortionist. I'll just show you. It is right around here, and it is not particularly easy to get at. And when it's not easy to get at, there it is down there, it's even harder to put the darn thing back. So anyway, we shall be diligent, and we will check all the liquids. Okay, so just going to check the generator. We're on shore power at the moment, so as we said before, that takes priority. Here is our Onan Cummins engine generator, and in here, we'll get a little bit of paper towel, be a tidy kiwi. Put this over. Oh. Caution, check oil and coolant levels. Fill if needed before startup. Okay, that sounds good. We've run this quite a bit, so. And when you check that, it is sitting halfway between the absolutely full and the empty level, so more than happy with that. Get that back in properly, and as I said before, Mark is going to keep this area very, very tidy, and there is just a little bit of oil around there, so we're going to get in there and clean it. Yeah, and the coolant is up in the top here, so a little, it's called an inspection plate, but I mean it's pretty darn hard to inspect it. There's about 200 millimeters of room up in there, so we shall do the wet finger test. Just going to get that off. That is easier said than done. That is much easier said than done. I can tighten it all right, I can loosen it, but you think I can lift it up? One would not want to drop this in here. Aha, there we go. It's an extra push and a turn. So there's our cap, nice dry finger. Here's the edge. Yep. Coolant is almost completely to the top. So you see, putting it on is easier than taking it off. Well, it is. Technique, I guess. And I can always stick my camera up there and have a look down in there, I guess. And I did buy in Barhouse, just out of Tuzla, a mirror on a long handle. So a little bit of marks up here, so we'll do that clean thing that I'm going to become famous for. Here we go. She's all looking good. Alright, generator's done. Why is it the first time you do something? It's always a pain. Oh, can't really call that a pain, Mark. It just slotted straight in. Alright, here's the test. Do the screws do up? Haha! Success! Generator complete. Oh, okie dokie. On to the engines. And now we're in Gocek. We know exactly the miles that we did, nautical miles, and on the starboard tank we basically have 642 litres. How accurate is that, eh? And on the port side tanks, we've got the supply tank there on the right, and the main port tank we have 475, about 510 in the main tank, and 160, so that's 670. 670 and say 650 is 12, 13, 20. We will now work out what our fuel consumption was coming down to Gocek. 1320 litres left. Hang on, I can't hear you. If I can't hear you, they can't hear you. Oh, check this dude out.
Just wait till you see where they land.
So what's this place called?
If I'm right, I think it's called Ullaganays. If I'm pronouncing it correctly.
Okie dokie.
Just a cute little beachside town.
So the very lovely people from Emmerich Marine have lent us a car for the day. Pretty cool, eh?
Yeah.
Hello. You're taking photos, Mum, are you?
Absolutely, have a look over there.
A couple of paragliders up there. Well, Renee came here last year, so she's the expert. She's the tour guide. We are, what, an hour further east down the coast?
Yeah.
From Gocek, and just a gorgeous beach. Check that out. You what, Renee?
I'm really hungry.
Ah, yeah, I could eat.
Let's try to get to the boardwalk because
Okay,
the paragliders are going to land.
righto.
And that's good fun to see.
I could eat.
Perfect. Did you guys sit on too? Oh, way to state something obvious, Dad.
Yeah. Come down at a reasonable rate of descent, eh?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Oh, this was
It's 2 people. What's this place called, Renee? Fithiye,
I believe.
another beautiful Turkish seaside city in this case, I think. But
Bit of rain coming down.
where?
Over there.
Doing us rain, dear.
I reckon so.
I think the hills might stop the rain. Very, very nice. On the way back to Gocek.
Cheers, biggies.
Yeah, that is exactly what I needed.
How about I drive us back? Dad,
Oh,
just curious, what were you saying about, I think the trees will stop the rain?
no, I didn't say the trees.
I mean
stop
the hills?
rain, the hills, the mountains. Well,
Yeah,
it's not
well-
here yet. What is happening, Renee, is it's orographic lifting on the eastern side of those hills. It's dumping the rain. Some of it comes over the edge, and it will stop by the time it gets here.
Okay, that's too much for
I
me.
think we should get going before it rains, don't you?
I think
Hey,
should
should we go
that,
before it rains?
yeah, I think you stay standing here and get rained on, and Mum and I will go back, and then you'll either show up wet or dry. Stop being a weirdo. It's disgusting.
What is?
You dancing.
I wasn't dancing.
Or was that a bit mean? He's abusing me. He goes, ow! You all wanted to know what he treats me off camera. That's how he treats me. Fuck you. Fuck you. You look evil.
Careful, you go over the backwards.
Whoa.
So, a little bit of a momentous occasion. That is where we've decided to put Awanui NZ, based out of Picton, New Zealand. So, all we have to do now, we've marked all around it, got pencil marks. All we have to do now is somehow take the back off, stick the letters on, and then take the front off. Sounds simple? Should be. Right, so we take this off. That's right.
I've already done mine.
Oh, have you?
Oh, yeah, I'm on.
Do that.
Oh, hang on.
Be careful not to get that off. Right. Okay, here's Awanui NZ, based out of Picton, New Zealand, officially on the back of the boat. So that's pretty cool. And we're still in Gocek. I thought I'd take you for a walk around the marina and maybe just have a little chat about things, because it gets a little bit frustrating when you're laid up. We're really excited about heading off, but the stabiliser problem continues, and you know, if I'm honest, probably feel like communication hasn't been that best about it. Even Nordhavn didn't know that the stabilisers weren't in fact fixed. They thought they were, but they're not. It is the cylinders, not the hose connection, so it's a problem from ABT, not a problem from the boat builders. For me, that's great news. But you know, while we get frustrated, I think we've got to go along with it. I mean, at the end of the day, we got this boat at a fantastic price. And they do those first few boats at that price because there are teething problems. And you know, if you're not prepared to accept those, then don't buy a first boat. So anyway, here we are still in Gocek. I mean, I don't know if you can see the colour of the water. It's just amazing, and you might not be able to make up those little fishies, but every morning there are just thousands of them down there. Tiny wee, probably herrings, sprats, whatever. And then down below them some slightly bigger fish, and every now and then there's a bit of a flurry, everything disappears and the big fish come out to try and eat them. But anyway, here we are at Gocek. It is an absolutely beautiful marina, but sit down and think about this, 300 NZ per night. So D Marin in Gocek is taking full advantage of the fact that this is a very, very popular place. And I mean, you can see it is beautiful, but 300 bucks a night, wow. You see all these charter yachts over here. I mean, you can guarantee they're not paying that. But we heard a wee story that a boat haul out for a 40-foot boat in Maramis, just up the coastline, cost 4,000 euros. Think about that. Back home, you can get your boat out of the water for about $260. 4,000 euros to take the boat out of the water. So, you know, I'm afraid it's time for us to leave Turkey. Everywhere you go, anything to do with a boat, super expensive. And we've heard in Greece, which is our next calling spot, prices are hugely better. This morning paid 175 NZ dollars, so what's that, 120 US, 110 US for a 5 litre container of cleaning product and some rust remover, a nice little 1 litre bottle of that, just so you can get those little bits that always turn up when you get salt water everywhere. So yeah, it's time to go, eh? This country is getting very, very expensive, and interestingly, today is voting day for local elections, and the local elections, depending on how they go, have a big impact on the president's standing amongst the local people. So I do just feel that Mr. Erdogan is losing a little bit of support at the moment, and that's probably because the economy is really struggling and people are feeling it. So anyway, thought I'd take us for a walk and look at some of the beautiful boats in the Gocek Marina. On Pier A, all the little boats, but out on the next pier there's some absolutely gorgeous boats. I mean, classic styles, they're just amazing. Anyway, back to Awanui NZ. Yeah, just a little bit frustrating. The stabilisers still have to have some work done on them. And unfortunately, the workers left yesterday, didn't tell us when they're back. We're assuming Monday, but as soon as they're back, we're going to head north to Bodrum. And up in Bodrum is where we get the water maker fitted. That's kind of the last thing that really has to happen. The bimini, we talked about that before, that was going to be fitted here, but the price is too high. So that's been cancelled by Nordhavn. So we're going to head probably over to Albania and have a bit of a look at things there after Greece. And if we're happy with things there, look at those little fishies going past. I don't know if you can see those. Anyway, they dived away, and get the bimini fitted there. But yeah, the price out of here was pretty high, so the decision was made not to go ahead with that. But we'll definitely need a bimini, because today it got up to about 29 degrees Celsius, so like our summer back home, absolutely beautiful weather, but it gets up to 40, and up on that top deck, man, it's going to be super, super hot. So yeah, if you're going to be over in this part of the world, you just got to have a bimini. And I mean, these boats, obviously you want to follow the good weather, so if you're following the good weather, it's an absolute necessity. So out of Bodrum, we'll get the water maker fitted. That's going to be really useful for not having to go onto marinas all the time. And I mean, there's just anchorages everywhere along this coast, as there are in Greece, as there are in Croatia, through Albania, Montenegro. So we'll make good use of those. But you need the water maker, because you actually go through the water. no two ways about that. Then we're going to come south to Marmaris and just catch up with some friends there. A colleague from my old job at Air New Zealand, him and his family have taken some time out and they've come up here to really enjoy this part of the world, so we'll pop in there and say hello. So I mean, here's some of the boats here. I mean, crikey dick, they're just magnificent. And this guy here I love. Look at that for classic lines. If you like a displacement trawler, then that is probably it. I mean, that's beautiful. And I kind of feel, I mean, Nordhavn, you know, they're the modern version of that really. Just lovely soft curvy lines, and it's nice and roomy. This is probably about 75-80 feet I would say, but what a gorgeous boat, eh? I mean, that looks like you feel like you've actually gone back 50-60 years, maybe even more. But yeah, beautiful. And yesterday we took her off the wharf for the first time on our own, and I have to say it was a success. We'll tell you later why we came back on one engine. A little bit of a smack on the hand for Mark, but we backed her back into the berth on one engine and the bow thruster, and everything went really well. So it's given both me and Fiona a lot of confidence. Somebody cleaning their boat there is just the most common practice, and we're going to do that tomorrow. Get out there and put a bit of shampoo and that on the boat. Everybody getting their boats ready for the summer here in Gocek. It's a beautiful spot. And back to Awanui NZ. There's the New Zealand ensign. Just lovely to see that flapping away in the wind. And a little bit of room here for us to get in yesterday, which was, I must admit I was grateful for that. But this boat just absolutely pivots on itself when you're trying to steer. You can see down here 2 rudders, and pretty big at that. Don't know if you can quite make them out, hopefully you can, but man, it turns pretty darn quick, which is really useful when you're trying to manoeuvre. But I've got to show you it again. There's Awanui NZ, and the little special feature on there is dotting the I, a nice little cherry blossom. We've cleaned the boat for the first time. We've probably done 80% of it that we can get at, and it's looking pretty cool. But more importantly, and we've kind of got to get this over and done with, because sooner or later you're going to notice. So I figure the best thing to do is just be completely and utterly upfront about it. But here are my legs. So we're starting the process of getting Mark a tan. So you're going to have to get used to it, because these legs are going to be in most of the videos. So pretty ugly at the moment, obviously, winter white, but they will go brown. So just thought only fair you get to see them. Anyway, that's done. Woohoo! I'm so pleased.
Right, so here we are, and as you can see, Mark is on the broom cleaning it.
Biodegradable
Oh yes,
cleaner.
biodegradable cleaner,
Shut the boys up.
which is great.
We had the Marina person come by, they're happy.
Yep, and then as you can see, I'm not sure, I'll just check. Don't want to get my shadow in it. But see here, that is what it was looking like before. Yuck.
On the decks, when you shun the deck. That's...
And now, this is the side. Oops, bit of shadow that's been done. Oops, that's no good.
And I have to say...
This is, so...
I have to say, sweetie, I do notice that everybody that comes to this bloody marina, all they friggin' do is clean.
Well, yeah.
Oh, and they stop and have the odd cigarette, which is over here, 58 lira for a 20 pack. Back home it's 1500 lira.
Yeah, that gives you an idea.
So it's no wonder they all smoke. But anyway,
So anyway, that's what it was looking like.
Here. They clean boats.
And this is how lovely and clean it's looking. I'll have to show you it like that because otherwise I'll get the shadow in the way. we've cleaned up there. So we started right up the top, the back.
The thing is, you can be
Around the
absolutely
side.
finicky if you want to the nth degree, and then by now we'd still be up on the top deck halfway around it. The best thing to do is just give it a good washing over on a regular basis, and when you've been out in the salt air to
Anyway, enough of him
wash
babbling
down
on.
the
For
salt,
heaven's
the
sake,
water.
Mark, don't need to babble on that much when we're cleaning. So you can tell that he's not that particularly keen on cleaning, but he's doing a great job today. And I've been on the hose, the high pressure hose, flying around clearing it all
I
off.
might as well have gone on the bloody sea
Yeah,
for a swim.
and he's complaining. 'Cause
Next time I'll just leap overboard and get wet, and then it's done.
I must say, I got him wet at one stage and he was not impressed.
She completely missed aiming at what she was trying to wash off and bloody sprayed me.
No, I was aiming, but I managed to get, where did I get you? Right in the head.
Right in the head.
Because I wasn't even trying and I did so well. Anyway, anyway, as you can
Should have got that on
see,
video.
as you can see, the sun is rising up there, coming over the hill. No, I'm busy. And so when it comes up, it does get very warm. So we're lucky we've done that. That's why we got up early this morning to do the cleaning. And then we'll move over to this side of the boat, which is the shady side. So
what do we reckon? About 3 hours, eh? Probably.
yeah, I must get back onto my hose. Chow. What are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to now that after yesterday, I feel confident taking the boat out, bringing the boat back in. I'm keen to get on and do that sort of stuff. Yeah. Where it was hanging over us a bit because I'd never gone off the marina, never come onto the marina.
Yeah.
And it's been 4 years since I've
turn it around to face you so they
driven
can
the
see
boat.
you when you're talking.
They might be happy looking at you.
Oh, just do as you're told. Right, there you go.
Hello. It's just so it feels good because I feel like it all came back to me. I haven't driven a boat for 4 years, and honestly, 2 engines and a bow thruster is so much easier, and you just feel like you've got total control of the boat.
I was sitting here and I thought I should video this because it'd be great footage. And then I thought, no, I'm not going to video it in case it goes skew-whiff. And so I just sat here and it was just going really well. And I was just so proud of you, Mark. So.
Skew-whiff's a good term. I think if things go pear-shaped or tits up,
yeah.
I like the word skew-whiff. I think when we cock things up, because it's going to happen, I think we should say they went skew-whiff.
Absolutely. And because yesterday was such a big day of taking the boat out, we got behind on our chores like dishes and stuff.
I know.
And we were so tired last night, still with jet lag. We went to bed at 7:30 and woke up this morning at about 7.
Easter Sunday.
And Mark, I made a cup of tea for Mark on Easter Sunday, which was great because he's normally the one that makes the tea. Wasn't up to his standard, so he made the second cup. And then he came back and he said to me, he said, the maid hasn't been. Because the dishes are still here. And shout out to Rosemary, our friend Rosemary, she'll know that story because when she was newly married, she looked around one day thinking, why is this place not clean? Who's coming to do this? And then she realised it was her. So we also, Rosemary, realised it was us. So we've got a bit of a day of cleaning today as well, but we'll get there.
Right, so here we are down in the engine room, obviously, and they've taken the PTO off the back of the starboard engine because we ran the engine today, not realising that we couldn't, and they were a little bit concerned that the PTO did not have hydraulic fluid that it was pumping. So, not sure if it's a faux pas on my point. Probably is. The key was out of the ignition, but there was no note there or anything to say don't run the engines. And we'd come all the way from Rhodes with the stabiliser system not working, so it didn't occur to me that there'd be a problem. Nobody had said anything along those lines. And the waste tank, both black water and grey water, were full. And over here, you have to get them pumped out. So we popped across to the pump out station. Anyway, we're going to find out, no doubt. Hopefully it's not a faux pas that Mark's made, but if it is, it is. There's nothing we can do about that. And there are the new cylinders on the stabiliser on the port and starboard side, and that is the culprit. And I still have to get to the bottom of both seals failing at the same time. That just doesn't make sense to me. I'm a little bit nervous as to why would both go. That would almost imply to me either an overpressure or a faulty batch. And these new cylinders have came from the same place the first ones came from. So, who knows? Anyway, we'll get the thing powered up and obviously give it a run, and then we just go from there. So, I guess getting them fitted is at least progress.
Alyan takımın en incesine veriyorsun. Tamam.
Fiddly, eh?
Yes.
What was the problem with the seals, do you think?
Seals?
Well, the fact that both sides went. Does that imply overpressure?
Yes, I check it.
Yeah. You check the pressure?
Yes.
Ah, thank you.
Alyan'ın falan. Ya tamam mı?
It's good?
Okay, so we are going for a sea trial. So Mark is taking the boat out with the engineers on board. So this is us heading out. Slowly does it. Just come around here, we've got a bit of a wind and a bit of a breeze happening. There we go. And he turns it. And he is doing it from up the top. And we just took the ropes off. That's just where we came from, and these are the guys that help us out. And this is our wonderful engineer. He's been sorting everything out for us. And I'll now take you upstairs. Mark is driving the boat from. Go very slow around here. Oh look, someone else washing their boat. See a lot of that out here in the marina. Beautiful boats. We are surrounded by beautiful boats. Mark's driving the boat but also being bossy and telling me to speak up. And here we are.
Hello.
Now where are we going to go, Marky?
Out here.
Out
Well,
here.
out here.
Oh my God, out here, people. I would never have believed we were going out here.
And then we'll transfer power
Down below.
down below.
When the first sharp turn was being done, I was sitting here, and in order to support myself, I had to have my foot up on this. Was ridiculous. Wait till I talk to the captain about that. Here we go again. You can see that we're doing a turn. So what is happening is they're continuing doing turns so that they can set the stabilisers up so that we're not leaning when we go into a turn, which would be bloody nice. So here we are, doing turns. Okay, so not sure if you can hear me or not. We might have to do a voiceover on this one, but learning all the time. And here we are on a sea trial, and they're doing the stabilisers. So for that, they have to do turns. So someone decided to do a nice sharp turn, whose name I won't mention, and this was the result. The door came flying out because we didn't have that locked in place. So I've made sure everything is locked, but that's a good learning thing and should be part of our briefing sheet to make sure everything is secure and locked down as we leave the harbour. pilot house. Engineer is busy there sorting out.
So we're doing 2,000 RPM now, both engines.
Sorry, I wasn't finished with saying my sentence. The engineer, really? The engineer is sorting out the stabilisers, and Mark is sitting here in the chair, and he's having to do what the engineer tells him to do. So, okay, Marky, over to you. What do you want to say?
Oh, I'm just saying, we've got 2,000 RPM both sides, doing 9.6 knots. We just want to give the engines a bit of a kick, because it's good for them. They've done 70 hours now, and every 10 hours, 20 hours, you want to just give them a little bit of a nudge out, and it just cleans them out.
That's cool.
That's now 50 litres an hour. And finally we get to take off from Gocek with just the two of us and head up to Marmaris. Absolutely beautiful spot, and very lucky to have some friends up there who captured some wonderful shots of Awanui NZ just cruising past, in fact doing a flyby of the main wharf. Then they came out to see us, and we had a wonderful afternoon and next day together. Then we had to head off, bit of a rough ride heading towards Bodrum, but the reward was an absolutely beautiful overnight on an anchor.